Hi, Rachel.
Hi, Douglas. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So to start right off the bat, I like that this show is so Western, but also very kind of modern in its own way and interesting. So I wanted to know what drew you into the project in the first place.
Um, well, I love the scripts. I love the character. I thought it was something that I'd never done before. It felt very adult. It felt, you know, and I mean, I've always wanted to do a western since I was a kid. I always loved to ride, and my dream was always just to be able to ride at work and just be able to just gallop through these amazing landscapes. So it was that and the story and the character I thought was really interesting. And I knew Dominic was attached, and he's a good friend of mine. And the idea of going off on this adventure with him was an exciting one.
And you mentioned Dominic, and so I want to know what was it like getting to work with him in this kind of show? Because your characters are not exactly like
Best.
friends.
Well, we wind each other up so much that it was perfect. It was actually perfect. It kind of, in a weird way, sort of mirrored real life. No, his mother was my nursery school teacher, so
Oh, that's cool.
I've known him for a while. And his girlfriend is one of my best friends. So yeah, I just thought I thought it'd be fun. I thought the world they'd created was brilliant, and it was an adventure. It was something that I would want to watch. I guess that's as simple as I can put it. Something that I want to watch.
Yeah, and to get slightly into spoilers, you now join a long line of people terrorized on television by Aidan Gillen, and so, because I think he's brilliant, but he's one of the scariest people to when he pops up in something. I'm like, I can't trust whatever's about to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and with Red Bill and his character, it is very like I liked the one scene where it looked like Red Bill just like destroyed him and hit him in the head, and then it's like, no, it was a dream, it was all fake. But what was that kind of like that filming dynamic like? Because it is very much you two in a very close quarters the entire time.
Yeah, that was actually the first thing that we shot, and well, I shot, and so it was intense, covered in real maggots, hung upside down for a lot of the day. But what's interesting, even though Aiden plays his characters in real life, he's the sweetest, nicest, kindest gentleman in the world. So off camera, it wasn't very intimidating, and he's a pleasure to work with. But he's very mysterious even when he works, and he's brilliant to work opposite. So um, it was fun. It was fun. Hard to remember your lines. I didn't say much when I was upside down, because by the time you've been upside down for a minute, your head feels like triple the size, the amount of blood that's gone to your head.
Yeah. Well, and so this is very different from what you've done in the past. He's not behind me, but I'm a big Matt Smith's fan. So I've seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. And I have seen like I Love Riot Club and a bunch of your stuff. And so to see you go from those roles to something like Red Bill is very different. And so what were the challenges of kind of changing up what people have sort of known you for?
I think it was just a gift for me, really. I mean, I think I'm 29 years old now, and I think I've been doing this since I was 16, and I think I've been, my career has been, you get to do different opportunities, and this just felt like a part that I'd never done before at all. When I played Boy George when I was 17, and in a way that helped get me the role when I played Dan Leno in the Limehouse Golem, because he was also a musical star, and the producer had seen me in that. And then once I'd done that, the director had seen me in that, had also seen me in the Boy George thing and that, and then thought, oh, maybe you could play Nikki Sixx. And I played Nikki Sixx, and then the director of this had gone, oh my God, you're badass, you play Nikki Sixx, then maybe you can play. Do you know what I mean? So every time you take on a role, it gives people a chance to see you in a new light, because obviously everyone always you always imagine that people are going to be exactly like you see them in whatever you have seen them and I think people grow. We grow up. I grew up. I'm nearly 30 years old, and it felt like a very natural progression for me to play a role like this. And it was a joy to be able to express myself in a very different different part than something I've done before. It's fun.
Well, I have to ask now because as someone who just had the existential crisis of I'm turning 30, what am I doing? What for you as an actor who does get to change kind of not your job, but like who you're playing and exploring, what is something that you haven't gotten to do yet that you want to do in the future?
I'd maybe like to do a bit more comedy. I think comedy could be fun, just to try it out, because I think I would enjoy that. I'm hopefully going to do a movie later this year that will allow me to do a bit more of that, which will be fun. And but beyond that, I don't know. Just to continue working with different filmmakers across all different genres and different actors. And I think it's just getting to that age when you're turn 30, where you begin to like know yourself. I think you're searching for so much stuff in your 20s where it can become more. I think I'll have more fun with it, rather than. I think you can come from a more like stable, secure place in your craft where you're not riding around. Love me, love me, love me. Is everything okay? Is everything okay? Am I okay? Is this enough? Where you're like, I am enough, and this is enough. And I think it's a nice kind of place to come from as an actor, because it gives you a great like solidity and base to play from and start from, I guess.
Yeah, and in the future, just because it's the conversation everyone's having, would you ever do these kind of like big franchises that we're seeing take over the cinema and
Like
now
what do you mean?
streaming, like
Yeah.
the Marvel and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff?
I mean, sure. Why not? Yeah, I think obviously, you can say that maybe those movies would be, I have a lot of friends who are superheroes and stuff in all those films, and I know it's a lot of hard work, and you can spend a whole 3 weeks doing 30-second clip in front of a green screen, and and I've done stuff like that in the past when I worked with Wachowski's on Jupiter Ascending and stuff, and
Yeah.
some of it can get laborious, but I'm excited about every opportunity, and would be very grateful to be anything like that, I guess.
Yeah, well, because I was thinking, because I was like, well, Dominic's technically in the MCU.
He is. He is.
But so going back to that Dirty Black Bag, what seemed very overwhelming as an actor, but as an audience member, looked beautiful, was like filming in what is clearly like the desert. And so when you guys were out there, what was kind of the challenges of filming in what I'm assuming was incredible heat?
Yeah, I mean, the challenge was the heat. It was in centigrade. It was almost 50 degrees centigrade, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but that's like
It's hot. I know that it's
very very hot. Like it's like double what it should be. And so yeah, the heat. But also logistically, for us just getting there, I think it was we were filming during the pandemic, and the Morocco block of the shoot we had to move like 3 times, and we ended up doing it at the end of the shoot, and it was just getting visas for everyone to get out there, and then it was a challenge. So I mean, the producers did a great job, because I think it adds a lot to the show, the whole the whole post-apocalyptic feel, the dry baked earth, and the desert was something that we really wanted to be a part of our visual experience in the show. So
yeah. And so was this your first post-quarantine project that you got to work on?
No, I made a movie called Unwelcome, which hasn't come out yet, which was a horror film from Warner Brothers, which was really like a horror creature feature, which was really fun. But I shot that in the real lockdown. That was in the middle of it. I felt like as soon as it opened up in the UK, I shot that, and then the day we wrapped, it went back into lockdown, and then I shot this a couple months afterwards. But yeah, no, I've been very fortunate to keep working during this time period. So yeah, I feel very grateful, because I know that a lot of my colleagues hadn't been so lucky. So
I do have to say, because it was a very funny moment of me realizing who you were and then not say anything. But when I went and saw Lobby Hero, you were in the lobby of Lobby Hero when I was there, and I did like a turn and was like, "Huh, that was Douglas Booth," and then just walked up the stairs. So it does make me want to ask, like, obviously like you your career is very wide ranging, but would you want to ever do like a Broadway play or a Broadway musical in your future?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I've done the theatre in London, and my fiance Belle Powley was in Lobby
Yeah,
Hero.
she was in love.
That's probably why I was there, and I witnessed how much fun she had on that show, and what it means to be in a Broadway show and the Broadway community, and it would be a dream. It would be a dream to work on Broadway, and that is something I would very much like to do more than once in my career. Yeah.
Let's put it into the universe. So for my final question, I always kind of like to ask, what do you hope audiences get to take away when they watch That Dirty Black Bag?
I would hope that they enjoy themselves and they have fun and they get lost in this world for a moment. I think it's yeah, I just hope they go along for the ride and the twists and turns, and that they have as much fun, and they enjoy the twists and turns as much as I did when I read it, and that they like my character the best, obviously. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, there'll be Team Red Bill shirts.
Jesus, yeah, I want one of those Red Bill. What's behind you? Those
My Funkos.
I want a Red Bill, one of those. Yeah.
My little Funkos. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. This was great. I can't wait for everyone to get to see the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time.
So hello.
Hello.
I really liked this show. I think it's very cool. It's also a genre you've kind of been in for a hot minute. It's different, but it is similar in tone and desertish. So I wanted to know what it's desertish. So I wanted to know what brought you into That Dirty Black Bag in the first place.
I think from recollection, although it was some time ago now, that it was, I think the scripts were handed to me when I was in LA after having shot a spy drama. Yeah, that's right. And then I suppose it could only go on instinct. I read them and I kept reading them, and that's very rare for me. But I kept reading them, kept wanting to see what was happening, and I wanted to see what on earth happened with that despicable character. So that's why. And then I was amazed to find that actually a few of us who knew each other quite well would be working on it, which allowed us to get together and spend some time rehearsing together and sort of not changing it, but making them who we wanted them to be. And that was a great privilege. And we had lots of time because of COVID restrictions and stuff, that we were in isolation together, so we could really play around and work out because I shouldn't be playing a cowboy in the desert, like you say, desertish. I shouldn't be desertish. But I think that was it. I suppose you have to. It was scary. I shouldn't be doing it, and that's what I thought. But I think it's good to keep pushing yourself to do this, to risk being crap, to risk it going wrong, and to risk people saying he shouldn't be doing this, or making a fool of yourself, and just trying your hardest to do it, and hoping that you can bring something to that character and to that piece and to that genre that hasn't been seen before, rather than just emulating what has been done or seen before and done brilliantly. So that was frightening, but I hope we've achieved it.
Yeah, and well, you mentioned like I shouldn't be doing this, but you've made a career of kind of pushing those boundaries with like Mamma Mia. I'm a big Mamma Mia fan, so I was like with Mamma Mia. But like with Mamma Mia and the Avengers and stuff like that, it's all stuff that you wouldn't instantly be like, oh, he'd be great in that, but then you are. And so is that kind of what you want to keep doing and surprising audiences with the stuff you get to do?
Yeah, I think that is a challenge to do that. But it's very interesting how people can only perceive you as what they know you for or what they've seen you in. So I think it's important to do that if you want to continue to do work that will push yourself, even though it's quite a nice, tempting idea to just sit back and people have wonderful careers out of doing something that they're brilliant at. I haven't worked out yet whether it's great to be really good at something or just mildly not very good at lots of things. I've gone for the latter. But it gives you opportunity to try certainly try different things out and to not get bored and to be most of the time pretty petrified that you're getting it completely wrong. But I think it's always worth giving it a go. And yeah, it makes that first day on set as the cameras roll pretty daunting. As you look at the face of the director who you think could possibly be going, why on earth did I ever cast this person? That's always the worry. But I think it's good to do it. You have to keep doing it. Everyone does in all aspects of life, in any job that they do. I think it's why people change their job, and you mustn't get stuck in a rut. But I hope that I have done it all right. Who knows?
Yeah, I think you're one of our most versatile actors that are out there, because it's always
good.
something different and it's fun. But with this one in particular, you're working with Douglas Booth, who because I interviewed him the other day and he was like, we're good friends, so it was fun. Yeah. But you guys are not friends in this, as an easy way of saying it. And so how was that kind of making that dynamic between Arthur and Red Bill come to life?
Yeah, we have quite a funny relationship. I like he said to you, we have known each other for years and years, but he's always been wonderfully, how do you describe it? We have a very funny relationship. We laugh a lot together, but it's through our humor comes, I think, through he often gets the upper hand. He often dismisses. He's very good. He's got quite a sharp tongue, and I find it very funny, but he always gets me. And we spoke early on about how would this become part of, rather than it just being a sheriff chasing a bounty hunter, like how we liked that he always got the upper hand on a majority of the scenes. And I think that was fun. It was great being able to have a friend so that you could also take risks and dare try things out and possibly fail. Whereas if you're just meeting a new cast for the first time, you often rely on what you know, or you go to where you feel safe. And it doesn't often produce the best work. If you have someone there that you feel confident of making an absolute fool of yourself in front of, then you can take a risk, which I hope that some of the time will prove to be the right choice and to be exciting to watch. And I think that's what was most helpful about us being friends. And we could be really brutally honest with one another. The three of us, there were 3 or 4 of us who just spent 2 weeks in isolation chatting it through and working out, how will we make this different? How will these characters stand out? Because there are a lot of characters in this, but how will we make it that the audience wants to follow their story and make them distinctive? And I think more than anything, knowing others or people in that and having that confidence can create great work. Whereas if you're on the back foot and you're shy, or you're scared to present what your ideas of a character are, then I think it doesn't often help your work.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting about the show, because I said to Dominic, I was like, or not Dominic, I said to Douglas, how was it kind of being tortured by television's creepiest character actor? Because Aidan Gillen terrifies me, because everything he's in, I'm like, I'm terrified of him. But then he was like, it was really hard because he's upside down. And then we talked a bit about being on this set. And so what was the hardest part about being on this set? Because you are in what I assume is incredible heat in the middle of the desert, and all of this kind of cowboy or sheriff garb. And like,
I think, well, it adds to it tremendously, and that's great. The sets were fantastic, and then we were often just dropped in the middle of nowhere. And the vistas and landscapes and sense of size, the scale of the landscape and the scale of how far these people had to go to get to any sort of to see any other. What's the word for people in places? Not humanity.
Civilians?
Yeah. No. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, hot, sweaty, arid, dusty, nightmarish locations in the middle of nowhere just added to, we looked like we were dying half the way through the set, and that was good. They lived in the blazing heat. There weren't many nice, there was no water, they had no water in that town. I mean, and we didn't have any on set, and that was good.
They just dehydrated you to make it look good on set.
It was good. It was right. It's exactly as it should be. And that stuff adds to it. And it was, look, anyone who's been making content, TV and film in the last 2 years I don't know how anyone's wanted to invest or do it. It's madness. You know, any day someone could get COVID and the whole thing shuts down. As an insurer or an investor or anyone putting the money, you must just be perpetually petrified. But they did it, and we made it, and it was chaos, but great. And that chaos was what is sort of at the heart of it, and what makes it great, I think. And we, you know, it wouldn't have been the same if we'd all been very, very nicely watered and fed in a nice air-conditioned studio close to home. We wouldn't have had the same look. We wouldn't have had the same crispy look of desperation.
Is that you mentioned COVID in the hotel and you guys kind of spending the quarantine together, but was this the first thing you've done in the midst of COVID, or had you already been on a set?
No, it was actually. It was. I ended the last one as COVID arrived, and then this one was, yeah. And it's again. I just the added complications to a production, and I'm not involved in that. I don't have to deal with that, but it's immense. And money, and you know, we're tested every day. We have to be really careful. Yeah, it just must be. But people still need entertainment. People still need to be making it, and you can't travel as freely. You can't. So for example, when you go off on big jobs, normally it's important to stay in contact with loved ones and be able to move around. You can't. So makes a big difference. But on this, it gave us a massive opportunity to do some 2 weeks of focused work where we'd be sitting together chatting through these characters. And I think that's so rare to do that much rehearsal. So it was great in a way. It's a godsend.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because you said in the beginning of the interview that like you were like, I want to see what horrible thing this man does next. And on the flip of that, when I was talking to Douglas, I'm not in my apartment, but normally I have Funkos all behind me. And he said he wanted a Red Bill Funko and wanted people to like have them. And so what is it about Arthur in particular that you like and don't like?
I get he's managed to escape one life, and he is secure in that life that he's found, but he's pathetic. I mean, he's also just come across a bunch of money, but he can't face up to his past, or he can't escape it. He can't leave, and he won't admit it. He's damaged, and he's dangerous, and he's not pleasant, and he's probably quite unlovable. He's probably never been in love. I think he's just hiding, and he's not prepared to change, to expose, to be fragile, be vulnerable, or to try and improve anyone's life around him. Or even to do the most simple task of finding out who stole those horses at the beginning. He just kind of tries to persuade him just to get out of town and forget it. And he's completely incapable, but he's volatile and he's dangerous. And that's, I think, his biggest flaw, that he has not come to terms with the damage that's happened in his past. And so he's all over the place, and he spirals out of control. And that was something that I thought was really fun to play and to witness and to work out how to sort of still try and make the man likable in some way.
I think you do a great job, and I think the dynamic really works in the show of what I've seen so far. With a show like this that is kind of, it's in a different world in a way, and it's transporting audiences, what do you hope people get to take away when they get to watch it?
I hope, well, I think the whole thing looks astonishing, and I think what they've got a really complex and I think it's very different from other things I've seen. I think there are many storylines happening, and they've done a great job of weaving those all together. I hope that people find who they like and they want to see the character's journey in it, and because each and every one of them has a very distinctive journey, and there's some big reveals in it that are quite shocking and upsetting. But it's a big show, and it looks incredible, and I think it's a definite way in which to escape the world in which we're in at the moment. I mean, and yeah, it looks phenomenal, and there's a lot of different stories going on, and they all brilliantly come together toward the end and give you some sense of what's the word? Resolution. Is that the word?
That works. Thank you so much. I can't wait for everyone to get to see the show, and I do hope that we get to see you in Mamma Mia 3 or as Howard Stark again for my nerdy little self.
Same here. Thank you very much. Nice to